Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our discussion and review of The Bachelorette. This could be part two of our ever-extending Bennett psychological profile.
Yeah, and it looks like there'll be more next time.
Is there a more divisive person in Bachelor Nation than Bennett right now?
Yeah, there's a lot of people that really do not like him. Sort of, he's been condescending, but he's also been really genuine. He is really controversial.
Like, I've seen people who think he's just, like, completely fake in everything that he's saying. I've seen people who think he's overly... We'll try to pin things down. We'll talk a lot about him, but we have to talk about the terrible, terrible lie detector date, which we both hate.
Hate it.
I
hate it.
But we've got other interesting things to dive into here and there. I have a lot of questions of the producers that I will raise that I'm sure producers are going to be watching this with bated breath.
Yep, they're here to answer your questions, Matt.
Before we do all of this, though, if you guys do enjoy this video, subscribe to the channel. We're here every week talking about The Bachelorette. We're going to have a lot to talk about apparently next week with 2 episodes.
2 episodes, Monday and Tuesday, and we will be here for both of them. And also make sure you follow us over on Instagram. It is Matt and Jess TV.
Okay, so can we start with Bennett? I'll get my just overall opinion of Bennett out of the way right now.
All right, let's have it.
I don't think Bennett is a guy who, based on what we've sort of heard from him, he's had a lot of success in his life. I think Bennett is probably not used to not having things go in a direction he expects. I think he was genuinely blindsided by what happened to Tayshia, but I also think he does legitimately... He at least thinks he loves her, and I think that is really weighing on his mind because I don't think he's ever been in this position before.
I will say this, I really wanted, I don't think he's going to get to hometowns, but I really wanted to see Bennett's family. I'm very curious because Noah did make that comment about him sort of being from privilege, and Bennett making a comment where he was just like, you don't actually know me. You don't know where I've come from or what my background is. And when he made that comment, even though the rest of it is all, looking like he lives on a yacht or whatever, he made that comment. And I was just like, now I'm interested to kind of know, did he not come from privilege and he's sort of a self-made man? Like, what has happened? Did he maybe lose somebody really important to him that left him an inheritance and he was able to move into this type of lifestyle? I'm just very curious about his upbringing and who his family is.
He reminds me of I've met a lot of people in my life who are seem like they got it all together, where, they're kind of successful or they seem sociable, but they're just like closed off in a certain arena and people can't get there to them in that way. And I just don't think people have been able to get there to Bennett in that way. And now he's on a show where he has nothing to do other than think about this person. And I think legitimately, whether you find him annoying or not, I think he's really, really just completely down the love hole for Tayshia at this point.
I believe his feelings are genuine as well. I think this environment is made to make people fall in love. I mean, Tayshia is the only thing that they are talking about, focused on, they're there for. They don't have TV and internet and phones or anything else to distract them. Tayshia is it. And for a guy like Bennett, I can see that he's going to get even more sort of down the hole with this. That moment that he did that fake proposal thing, that was it. I saw it all over his face. And I saw it for her too. There is something there. Now, do I think she's going to end up with him? No, I don't. But I can't deny that there is something there.
Here is where I try to impart some advice for Bennett, as though Bennett is also watching this video at this point. I'm sure, Bennett, you would have passed that lie detector test in flying colors, and the reason why is you say everything that's on your head. And, sometimes, Bennett, You can be honest without also saying everything that's on your mind. You don't need to tell Noah he has a 0% chance of making it to the end with it. You can keep that to yourself. It's okay. You don't need to be out there fighting the battles for Tayshia and putting yourself in this position for no real reason other than just you can't keep it in.
No, and I get where Tayshia was coming from on that, of why she felt like him saying that was like saying basically that she's not making the right choices. She can't make the right choices for herself. But at the same time, I mean, all the guys there probably feel that way, not about Noah, but sort of about themselves. It's like, nobody else has a chance here because I'm your guy. It's just, Bennett's social skills are not there. They are not developed enough to sort of say what he's trying to say. And I know that the edit has come across, and maybe he is this way. I don't know him, so I'm just going by the TV edit. That's all I got. That he can come across as condescending, and there's a part of me that wonders if, like you said, he's a guy who's kind of had things go his way, and that maybe he's in a type of bubble where things are all going his way. So when things don't go his way, he doesn't really know how to deal with it. He's not equipped for it. And that's why you've got a guy like Bennett reading books to try to find information that may not be coming into his life.
I want to go back to what you said a minute ago about social skills, because I think there's a great example of this in the episode. In the confessional room, where he has time to be composed and sort of, because he's just monologuing in there.
Yep.
He's able to articulate really well that, Tayshia, she's not there all the time. He's around all the other guys all the time. So he picks up on things that she may not notice about, for example, a Noah. But when he was in front of Tayshia, he didn't articulate that the same way. Like, he didn't actually make it clear why it was he felt the way that it was, and I think that really, really hurts him, plus, in addition, him not keeping his mouth shut about the 0% in the first place.
Yeah, the other thing is Bennett strikes me as the type of guy that if the cameras are not in front of him, that he is someone who is just a little more composed. He's able to be a little less socially awkward. But because this is such a strange situation to begin with, for everybody, not just him. If he is a guy that's kind of living in a Bennett bubble where, things kind of go his way and he can take more time with stuff, like you said, in the confessionals, he can take more time. He can think about what he's going to say. When the camera's on and everybody's around and, he's on a 2-on-1 date, those suck to begin with, right? So then you put someone like Bennett in that situation and it's extra hard on him to get across what he's trying to get across.
Here's another example of how polarizing Bennett is. When Bennett shows back up at the end of the episode to be like, Tayshia, I realized that I love you. If this was like another guy who was like more universally loved, it would be like and there would be like, people would be posting like that video of like Ellen giving everyone in the audience prizes. But because, it's Bennett, there's some people cheering, and then there's some other people that are like, this is, the cringiest thing ever. And I do think Bennett's not going to get what he wants out of this.
Well, that's how love works as well, right? Like for Tayshia, if this is someone that she's really into, like an Ivan, for some reason she sends him home and he comes back, then it's sort of her perception because she, likes him. So it's like, oh, this is such a sweet gesture. If it's Bennett, where she's got less feelings for, but some feelings for, it can come across as creepy. They've got him standing in the dark like, hello, Clarice. Like, what is going on here, right? And it doesn't have to be that way, but it just is because it's Bennett.
I'm still laughing because I just watched that trailer to the Clarice show earlier today. And here we are. Bennett, I feel for you with the edit you've been getting in that way. Who knows how all this will work, but
I did like that he actually came and opened up a little bit more, because there is something about him. I know we're 9 minutes and we're still talking about it. We are going to move on, but he is so closed off. He's like no one I've ever seen in my life. I've never met anybody like him, and it feels like some of this sort of privilege and houses and wealth and Harvard is a bit of a wall. And so for her to send him home, for him to come back, I mean, for someone who it does seem like everything goes your way, now it isn't. For him to actually come back is a huge step of sort of being humbled by not getting what you want, which is good. Everybody needs to have that happen, but it also makes him think and think outside of his bubble. It was an interesting, that scene, especially that moment, was very interesting to me.
I was so ready to come on here and do the classic, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain with
Hello,
Bennett.
Clarice.
I was going to go all the way, but, I can't, after what Bennett did, he shot his shot. I can't be mad at him. If he loves her, he's got to try, and at least, he's not being rude or disrespectful or anything like that.
Yeah, and I'm one of those few people that's kind of, I'm just in the middle on Bennett. I was, really interested in more sort of rooting for him to be around because he's a character, personality type I have never seen before. So for me, it's entertaining to see him on there. I still don't think that he's a villain either. He feels like a guy who just doesn't have a lot of life experience outside of his small bubble, and he's got really bad social skills, which I can kind of relate to. I have really bad social skills. So him in that situation, me in that situation, I get it.
And me in that situation. Welcome to Bad Social Skills Club, Bennett. You are welcome here, but...
Welcome.
Okay,
Hello, Bennett.
Okay, let's...
Okay, all right,
let's
I'm
not
done.
do that voice with Bennett. Bennett will never join our club.
He's not joining our club anyway.
Bennett, you could join the club 11 minutes into this video, but okay. There's a lot of just really weird editing questions that I have, but first of all, my biggest beef with production, and I've got a couple of really, really big beefs with production in this episode. Number one, you guys did Zach so wrong. Like, don't get me, like, yes, Zach, when he was in the 6th grade, should not have kissed that girl at Bolorama or whatever it was.
That whole lie detector test, I absolutely hate it. They've done it before. They've now done it again. I don't care that Tayshia also took that test. I hate it. I feel like if you're at that point in a relationship that you are taking a lie detector test, your relationship is over. I'm sorry. Like, you are at the beginning where you are building your trust. When you get to that point in your relationship where you're like, take a lie detector test, I don't trust you, I need to be able to trust you, like, it's done. And that moment where Zach was like, asked if he's falling in love with her, and that's how he gets to tell her, and later he even said, that was a really personal moment that I would have liked to have shared with you when I'm ready, in private, in another, so the first time I'm telling you that, I'm falling in love with you, I'm strapped to a lie detector. I hate it. I hate it.
I hate that Zach had to spend the last week with a lot of people thinking that he had, like, cheated on someone recently in his life, and now, like, because there's people who aren't going to see this episode who maybe just saw a preview or whatever, and now everyone said, oh, look at you cheater, and it's like, he did a stupid thing when he was, like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old?
Yeah.
Like, that really, really sucks. I didn't like that. I don't want to go full tinfoil hat here, because it's something kind of that's serious, but it's bothering me a little bit. That it felt at times like the producers were trying to push certain storylines involving certain people. Like, it felt like they deliberately set Riley up so that Riley had to tell his story. It felt like, there was some sort of prodding to get Ben to tell his story it felt like these moments were kind of just set up where the guys had to admit to these things in the setting that they were in.
I absolutely agree, and I feel like maybe the producers felt like they wanted to do a bit of a push with people like Riley, who I love. If you've been here to this channel for all of this, Riley's my guy. I think he is incredible. I love that, and I know production obviously hooked him up with that cake, but that little, it's our 1-week anniversary with the cake. Oh my God, I love Riley. So, but he doesn't open up very much. And if he's going to have a chance with Tayshia, he needed to take that next step and open up. And I give the producers a lot of crap because usually they're trying to stir the pot. And maybe that's what they were doing here. But I'm going to try to give them the benefit of the doubt that they were trying to get Riley to open up so he had a better chance with her. Because if she ends up with Riley, I'm going to be so happy for them.
Riley seems like a really good person, and I'm not just saying that, because he's come across as very nice on the show, but even the way he was telling his sort of family history, I got a sense that he really didn't want to air his family's dirty laundry on TV, and he didn't want to throw a lot of people under the bus. And I think he did a really great job of sort of explaining the basics of the situation without getting too personal, and sort of just being there for everyone at the same time. And it's like, good on you, Riley, for, you know, looking out for your family while also understanding that you need to tell Tayshia something in this moment.
He did a wonderful job explaining it. You want to look at social skills?
Yeah.
Riley is your guy. He really was able to explain his side of things without throwing anyone under the bus and being very respectful. This is why I like him so much.
Yeah.
He is my winner.
By the way, my favorite line during the whole lie detector thing was hearing sort of about, you know, oh, we don't use these because they're not admissible all the time in court. Yes! Throw that lie detector under the bus now.
That's right.
Oh, that was good. The Ben story, it's a very difficult thing to talk about on camera. And it was the situation where, you know, Tayshia kept asking him, you know, are you holding out? Is there something I feel like you're not telling me? I don't know if that's just something that she read from the situation or that, you know, production was trying to prod Ben to open up about it. I'm not sure, but I appreciate a lot of Ben, and I haven't been like the biggest, you know, Ben cheerleader in any of these videos, but, you know, veteran mental health is really, really important, and it's not talked about all that much. And this is a guy who's served, who's clearly gone through a lot, and, you know, he deserves a platform. He deserves a chance to actually really share his experience, and I hope that did not get lost amidst everything else that was going on.
Yeah, I think it was a really important moment. He's still such a young guy who has gone through this and is talking about it, because you're right, it is something that isn't talked about very often at all. It is something that is kind of sort of behind closed doors, hidden, and was, I'm sure, very difficult for him to talk about, open up about on TV, not just a one-on-one with Tayshia or one-on-one with somebody in private. He's on TV talking about this stuff, and as hard as it was for him to be able to talk about, Ben, I know you're watching this, I really appreciate that he did that.
Yeah, I have so much respect for Ben, and I have respect actually for a lot of the guys. Like, I usually, you know, we usually come on here and I make fun of the guys a lot, but they feel like a lot of them seem to be pretty nice guys, and beyond all of that, like, they're actually sort of being vulnerable. And yeah, I don't like always how it feels like production is setting certain situations up, but I feel like I actually know and understand more of these men than I have on really any other season in years.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with that, and it's a lot of times hard to sort of figure out who's going to be someone we're going to get to know, because like when Spencer first came onto the show and everybody was so upset because he's incredibly good looking. As soon as he walked in, everyone's just like, oh, and everybody had their backs up with him. He had done nothing wrong. All he did was show up. He has been a ghost since then, and then just went home tonight. And it was just like, what happened to that storyline? That went like nowhere. And when he came in, I thought he was going to be somebody I was going to get to know. And I know nothing about him except he was good looking, and people were having a problem with that.
Yeah, like he completely fell off the map, and I think there was a certain point tonight where we had that rose ceremony where it was so almost painfully obvious who was going to be going.
Yeah.
Like, Ed, your most memorable moments in Bachelor history include 1, fighting with CHASEN, who no one remembers anymore. 2, having a one-on-one with Chris Harrison, where Chris Harrison awkwardly allows you into his room.
I was actually surprised that Blake still stayed. I mean, they haven't really had that much of a connection. I know he's got a one-on-one coming up, which is good, because otherwise I was like, okay, well, obviously he's going to be the next person to be cut. Like, they just haven't spent enough time together, and it's so late into the process.
Yeah, and I don't... My projections for Blake are not good moving into this next one.
No, I think he's getting cut. It is too late into the process. She's got other relationships that are so much further ahead. Even with Bennett, who she sent home, that relationship has progressed further than what is going on with Blake.
Yeah, I don't know where Blake's head is at this point. Like, he's the only guy left who I kind of remember more for his relationship with Claire than I do his relationship with Tayshia. And that's such a weird thing to say, but speaking of weird things to say, Ed, your scene at the very end of this episode where, okay, this is something that I would want to do with my woman on a Wednesday night. You're gonna put on the mask and watch Dateline first of all, doesn't Dateline come on Friday nights?
I feel that it does, but I feel like there's a lot of people that are out there that stay at home and watch Dateline. I'm not one of those people, but I feel like there's a lot.
If you're watching Dateline on a Wednesday, why are you DVRing Dateline and watching it the following week, Ed? And why are you also, Ed, there are other things I feel like you could do to make you oh, this is gonna make me the most attractive possible. I mean, yeah, you're taking care of your face, but you sitting there looking like you're wearing a Scream mask, I don't really think that's what gets people's motor running, Ed. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why he's gone home.
Ed, you were fun. Ed was fun, kind of, while he lasted. He irritated me immensely for one episode, and then entertained me the rest.
That whole CHASEN thing, I was just out on both of them. I'm here for the romance and the Rileys of it all, and the Ivans and Brandons. I really like that in this show. A little bit of drama, sure, but that stuff that was going on with that just felt sort of like it was manufactured, just making it up out of nothing to have a fight.
Speaking of fights, are we surprised Noah is still here? Noah, to me, he doesn't seem like a terrible guy or anything like that. He just looks like every other contestant on Bachelor Nation sort of rolled into the ball.
Okay, here's the thing with Noah. I am not surprised that he is still here because I feel like Tayshia, in some ways, needs to keep him a little bit longer because if she gets rid of Bennett, where Bennett has said, this guy is not for you. He's not here. He's not marriage material. He's not ready for kids. He's not ready to marry you. You are in a different place in your life where you are looking for that. This guy is not for you. He has a 0% chance of being with you because you're looking for different things than he is. If she then also sends him home, then it means that Bennett was right. So I'm not surprised that he's there. But I think she knows in her heart of hearts she is not going to marry Noah. And and the same thing. Yeah. I am also not saying that Noah is a bad guy. I just don't see it.
It's time to pull up the full tinfoil hat now.
All right.
I'm ready to go. So right. Tayshia's an influencer.
Sure is.
And, she does very, very well with it. Out of the guys who are on the show, Noah, this man feels like he's good to go with the Instagram influencing. He's got the look, he's got the youthful. Noah, to me, if Tayshia wants an influencing partner,
then she needs to pick Bennett. If anybody has not gone over to Bennett's Instagram, he is verified. He's got tons of followers. He's got tons of pictures of him on his yacht or whatever is going on over there. He is living that lifestyle. If that is what she is looking for, then Bennett is your guy.
I just would have felt like on the surface it would be Noah because I don't. Maybe it's just because Noah looks pretty young and he's probably one of the most best looking guys of the bunch, at least without the mustache.
What?
Well, I'm not always a good judge on this.
No, you're not.
But
the best looking guys of this bunch are Ivan and Riley. They are so good looking.
Okay, yes. Ivan and they are also very, but it's I could see a lot of people, at least it's people in my life, who would think that Noah without the mustache would be attractive. But
no.
All right, so there we, okay, this is a good
Noah, that's all right.
question.
I know I'm not your type either.
Is Noah hot or not? Let us know in the comments. But, well, clearly I think
Hashtag no.
Okay,
no
well,
Noah.
I think we're both in agreement, though, that Riley is probably the most attractive man on this season. But
I agree. Riley, yeah.
Got it going
Ivan,
on.
Absolutely. Good looking guys.
But yeah, I just feel like I think there's something about him that appeals to her. And it's the same thing that John Paul Jones had that appealed to her, where it's just a youthful energy and a spunk about him.
Yeah, there is.
But we'll see what happens next week, where we have the Men Tell All. We've got some other random drama. I don't know how they're doing hometowns.
And it looks like Bennett is back. He's walking back in being like, and I'm here. So anyone that was really hoping he'd be gone, seems like he's going to be back, even if it's going to be temporary. Again, I don't think he's going to be making it to the end or anything like that. But I think it's hard for Tayshia to have someone who she does have feelings for, step up like that, show up like that. She rejected him and he came back and humbled himself and poured his feelings out there and said, I love you. It's very hard to then be like, nah, I'm good. Thanks, man.
The one thing I'll say about this preview, I like to study the outfits because I want to get a sense of timing.
Yeah.
There was one clip of Tayshia where she was really crying and having a hard time. She was wearing the same exact outfit she was wearing when she was talking to Bennett. So I think after that conversation, she must have broke down. She either struggling with it or she's not on the same place as Bennett and she just feels really bad.
I think it's just a hard situation. This is not the first time we've seen somebody struggle with, should I bring so-and-so in or so-and-so back or anything like that. And to be fair, I get that it might not be fair to some of the other guys that are still there, but this is Tayshia's journey as well. It's not only them. She is trying to find the person that's right for her, and that's what the point of the show is. That's why, for me, and I'll say this 25 minutes in when nobody's watching it anymore, I don't mind when people make a mistake and they pick the wrong person and then end up with the right person afterwards. This show is supposed to be about finding your love, the person you are supposed to be with. So if she thinks that she made a mistake with Bennett, and she did take that lie detector test too, and it seems that there was a regret there, and they were even like, oh, it must be Bennett. Maybe it is Bennett. So she needs to be able to work through the process. This is a process. He's been gone for a day. This isn't like it's been 3 weeks and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're bringing back in Bennett. And they're like, what?
Listen, sometimes life can be a dumpster fire, but you should be able to reserve the right to pick up the fire extinguisher, put it out, and start again.
Yes.
That should be at the back of my self-help book, which is really
coming out next year.
Okay, yeah, nobody's buying that, but okay, well.
Ghost written by Bennett.
Yes, it's really just Bennett's emotional intelligence advice. But what do you guys think about this episode? What should Tayshia do with Bennett? Let us know, and if you like this video, subscribe, give us a like, support us further by checking those links to the store, our Patreon, and we will see you here next time.